welcome Mr. Abhishek Vyas.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
So he has got All India rank 629 in the Civil Services Examination 2021, and he has been, he appeared with the management optional, and today the purpose of this session is to basically discuss the strategy of management optional which he has adopted. So starting with the very basic question, can you please share about your background, your educational qualification, how did you end up taking the management as an optional?
Yes, sir. So I graduated back in 2014 from Sriram College of Commerce. So I took economics honors. So post that I was thinking that, so basically after that I joined MBA at IIM Lucknow. I also worked for about 5 years in corporate sector. So wherein I was working with the digital media industry and also in the advertising space. So first of all I was working with Disney Hotstar for 2.5 years. Then I went to do work with MX Player for about 2 years. And then last company I was working with was Paytm. So that was there, and in the middle of my corporate experience itself, so there was the point that I decided to go for civil services as a preparation. So after 2 years of my corporate experience, I started preparing for civil services, and in the first attempt itself, I got to the interview, but I couldn't clear it for the first time, and with the God's grace, I could clear it in my third attempt in CC 2021, and even this time I've appeared in my interview. It was on 28th of Feb. So that's one. So as you guys, my journey is also, so I have, while I'm already into one service, in Indian Civil Account Service, while I'm on my journey to go for upgrade in the services as well.
Yeah, that's really good. So management as an optional is really something which is very unique in the sense that very less number of people prepare from the management background, and they always have a question that should we go for the optional of management or not. So how did you decide that, okay, yes, this is the right choice? So, and you even got selected, and you have been appearing in the interview again with this optional. So definitely this optional is like giving the marks.
Yes. So management, I had a certain base, so I thought that management is one thing that, and I also looked at the papers of the past. So that was a natural choice. And after that, I have been, except once in the last 5 my mains, I have always cleared mains with the management optional itself. So yes, definitely it's giving me some kind of edge in terms of clearing the mains and getting to the interview. So that is there. Apart from that, it's very important that for all the topics that are mentioned in the syllabus, we should have a like 2-3 pager ready in terms of if it's a theory, then we need to have a 2-3 pager theory ready with that. And when it comes to numericals, we need to have a good grasp of numericals as well. And how the pattern has been changing over time is my analysis that they are more going into the application base. So they are not asking that mention 4 P's, or they are not asking that what is tell me about this motivational theory. But then there would be questions where you yourself have to apply those concepts to answer those questions in a very beautiful way, and that includes putting some examples also from the current scenario. So I would say there can be 3 pillars of preparation. First is that be thorough with the syllabus. Second is preparing that 2-3 pager of the theory part, and third would be the numericals that we have to prepare.
Right. So you told a very comprehensive approach, in fact, overall. As far as the books are concerned, so how do you recommend, like, should the students go for some standard books or some study material? How to maintain this balance, because most of the students, they already study some books in their BBA or MBA in their management subject. Now, should they go for reading those books, or they should refer to some high level of books, or somehow some study material can help them?
So in that case, I would not say that go book wise, I would say that go topic wise. So ultimately our aim should be to prepare the topics mentioned in the syllabus well. So first find that if you have already studied somewhere about that topic in some book, but I would again say don't go book wise, go topic wise. So first it's possible that you might get that in the book itself. If not, then go for kind of materials in the coaching. For the Academy IAS provides the materials in terms of preparation.
Yeah, you referred in this
Yes.
attempt.
So I had in this attempt I had referred the theory part and also the kind of numerical aspects. I really learned from those books, because it covers not just the theory part but also the examples that are related. So ultimately it's about the covering the topics well, and for that you can take help of book or maybe some kind of material or examples. You can also, I would say that you can read some business newspaper like Business Standard. You can read maybe regularly or maybe once in a week, some kind of in a magazine form, so that you are abreast of all the recent activities that are happening in terms of business, corporate governance and other topics that are mentioned in our syllabus.
Right. So very good point, that rather than following the books, we should go topic wise. Yeah, and in fact the study material that we have prepared is on the similar lines. We have to stick to the syllabus actually, and then we have to go in depth as per the syllabus. And what is the role of previous year questions? What do you think, are the previous year questions very helpful, or how much importance we should give to the previous year questions?
So previous year questions are definitely a very important benchmark of how our preparation needs to go further, because in terms of numerical we have seen that there are some kind of pattern that is seen, that once in every 2 years they kind of give numericals on for example linear programming. So these are very repeated topics. So the idea of previous year question is to find those repeated topics and also to prepare your answers, practice those numericals well, so that in the exam you don't feel like you haven't seen these kind of numericals before. So it gives you that kind of confidence that once you have solved the previous year questions, you are prepared for the next level, which is the actual exam.
So in fact, in theory, a lot of areas are repeated. Year after year, they are repeating a lot of areas, and we get to know. For example, in human resource management, career planning is important.
Yes.
Certain motivation theories are important in OB. Similarly, in international business, certain questions or certain themes they are repeating. So we can find the repetitive themes. And
sir, one thing I would like to highlight is that don't leave any single topic of any syllabus of the syllabus. Because what we are seeing is that whatever they have covered till now, now the UPSC, in my opinion, is thinking that what new can we bring in terms of
what is left from the syllabus.
What is left from the syllabus, they are covering it now.
Yes, so and they are giving very basic questions.
Very basic questions. From that you might say that okay, that this is a very trivial topic.
They are picking straightforward questions. They are just asking what is this, what is this.
Yes.
5 marks.
For example, decision making. I think there was some question last year on some kind of decision making theory or principle, which is often neglected by people. So yeah.
In fact, this year also in Mains 23 there were questions on process costing.
Yes.
Which was very new, and the level of difficulty was also moderate.
Right.
So definitely students can leave that, but if they go through this, so in the event that they are not having any other choice, they can at least practice this. So very right observation, that previous year questions are very important, definitely, but never skip the whole syllabus.
Yes.
Do you find the syllabus is very bulky, or is it manageable? How do you find?
So I think that it's a bit bulky. I would not deny that, but it is manageable also, because herein your previous experience of being a management graduate, or maybe management you have done if you have done post graduation,
right,
that helps that cover the 40-50%, 60% of the syllabus already.
Yes, absolutely.
So then you have to just work on practicing numericals, and again building on the current examples to substantiate your already acquired information.
Right.
So that is there. It's bulky, but it's manageable as well.
Right. And I think one of the reasons why you are saying it is bulky, manageable, is that because it is your own subject. So
yes, definitely.
It gives a comfort. Always it gives a comfort. You never feel that you are spending more time. So whatever time you spend, you think, oh, it's fun. It's your own subject.
Yes.
Ultimately, you feel connected to your graduation, your post graduation. And you also talked about current examples.
Right.
So for current examples, should a student do some research effort, or is there any shortcut for that?
So I have always myself also relied on long term aspects itself. So there is no substitute to hard work, which is you yourself have to come up with certain examples. But definitely, for example, I think the diadomy
Yes,
worksheet
we provide the value addition.
Value addition in terms of that kind of diagrams that are already prepared.
Definitions, examples.
That can be used to quote in some of the answers.
Right, quotations.
And recent
examples.
Yes. For example, some crisis is happening around in terms of if some bank is failing or something.
Corporate governance. Recently there was a. So there are two things. One thing is which I find is that there are certain examples which are there in the book. For example, regarding human resource management, the very good examples are available in Gary and Dessler, and there are many other books. Right. So we are already providing those examples in our courses. And additionally, that you pointed out, we have to keep our mind, eyes open as we are reading the daily current affairs. So whatever issue comes up, we should always think how can we attach with our syllabus, because economy is a very common theme in the management. So I think if we say in paper 2 economy has a very good coverage, that's also one thing. Secondly, basic topics like corporate governance, business ethics, these are also very much in news and everyone studies, even part of GS. So if we just keep thinking how can we use this example, how can we attach this example in our syllabus, I think that is very good value addition.
Correct, because for example now we are seeing the PTM and RBI class that is happening. That is what is like an example of wherein not adhering to the regulatory norms, and also in terms of and there are certain examples of we can say that there was some crisis sometime back, I think Yes Bank.
Yes,
there was
Abhishek Vyas
corporate governance issue was there.
Yes.
Then even I think that you need to think about perspective of how your knowledge of management can be used in different aspects of governance. So not just administration, but also policing. There is high chances that next time they can also even ask that this is some kind of case study given. Application based question that your employees the police is overburdened with a lot of work. So and they are feeling very demotivated. So what are the different things that you would do? Because I remember there was a question like 2-3 years back about the same thing, the training aspect. That the government is spending so much on foreign training of the individuals in the government sector, but the results are not coming. So what things should be done in terms of now there is no direct answer to that. But there would be theories related to motivation, related to your
evaluation of training.
So all these aspects, if they are already in your mind, then there is an application required.
So whatever recent issues are going on, for example, recently this issue of consultant Raj was in news. That now people in the government, they are not hiring permanent employees, rather they are
referring
consultants. So these are some of the issues which they can pick up and they can ask the questions.
But again, don't just overboard yourself with all these things. Just see that if this news is anywhere related to your syllabus itself. So syllabus is one thing which is to be kept over the table whenever you are studying, like in front of your eyes.
Absolutely.
And in your mind also, that whenever you see any news, you see that there is a connect between the syllabus and this news.
Very true. So syllabus should be printed, it should be with you.
Yes, because if I am saying that read business standard, I am not saying the entire paper, I am just saying that only those topics which are relevant. For example, we prepare for mains also like that, right? So mains mein, if there is any, we have some topics on agriculture, then we go for the news which talks about public distribution system, minimum support price.
We give the models, we give the examples
from our knowledge of the newspaper that we are reading. So similar is the case with management as well.
We just have to pick up what is relevant from the syllabus point of view, rather than just going through the newspaper. In fact, in my opinion, even this business newspaper or something, it can be done after we have gone through the syllabus at least once. In the first phase, it is not required, if we do that, then we will, again.
This is something a part of value addition, and value addition can only be done when you already have a base.
Already done the syllabus.
Syllabus first, then comes the value addition.
So I think the one message that should be clear is, don't follow the business newspaper from day one. It's not like I'm preparing for UPSC, so I'll follow this newspaper now, extra newspaper for business for my management. So it can be done only after you have done the syllabus, you are aware about everything, you have done the basics and everything. Then you can see if something I can add on upon. So I think it should be last thing to do, not the first thing to do.
And also the first thing should be also that we are seeing that numericals are playing an important role in terms of getting high marks.
Numerical, absolutely.
So definitely in the initial phase, I would say that focus on theory is okay, but then also practice numericals more, because you would have a choice to choose between numericals
and theory
when you are attempting the question paper. And if you are attempting numericals, shortly you will be on a higher side of the marks
Absolutely,
as compared
get
to theory.
good marks,
Because
yes.
theory is very subjective in terms of the examiner
Right,
perspective.
right,
But
right.
numerical, if you are doing it right, then he or she has to award you the marks. Right?
Absolutely.
And
Numericals.
Paying, giving more marks as
Yes,
compared to
yes.
theory.
In fact, this is also a fear area of UPSC aspirant in management.
Yes.
So for numerical, first of all, sir, what should be the approach? What should be the sources? How much depth should we go?
Right.
So how did you face this situation?
So this time I took the help of Rahul sir and guided me in terms of helping solving those numericals. But in my previous attempt, and gathered that base of that particular topic, then the idea is to solve as many numericals as possible.
Yes, yes.
So
practice.
So there, in terms of practice, you can either take any coaching material, or you can also helps you in doing the numericals very fast.
What do you think? Are the numerical easy, moderate, or difficult? Because this is one question which is very at the top of the mind of the new aspirant. That should I choose the management optional? Will they be very difficult question?
Numericals are, if you know the concept, I think it's easy only. It's not that difficult.
Actually, this is
Numericals
very
are-
basic to we can say medium level.
So what problem lies is that if you don't know that what is where do you apply chi-square test, where do you have to apply t-test or maybe f-test, so then it's a problem. But
Then it's
once
the
you
problem.
know that,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
just that UPSC keeps on changing the values of the questions.
Conceptual clarity.
Conceptual clarity is very important. Once you have that, I think it would solve it's not that difficult to solve.
Right, right. How is the answer writing strategy of management optional different from GS, or say, what things you think should be taken care in the answer writing?
So I think there are some similarities as well as differences. Similarities in terms of that they would always be questions which are direct. So there you just have to focus that this is some aspect of you have already covered and just have to apply that. Second is that even here in GS we don't have any numericals per se, but here you have to practice a lot in terms of numericals.
Right.
Third, theory again substantiating with examples, and also the diagrams if you can make.
Diagrams,
Diagrams.
authentic
So
diagrams.
first is that in GS the introduction so is very important. Here also it's important, but in here the idea is to have is to very sharply address the question.
Right, to the point.
To the
We
point.
need to be to the point, and we need to address
Yes.
the core of the
Core
demand,
demand,
rather
core
than just
Yes. So I would say that, and supplementing it with diagrams, flow charts if possible, and also some examples.
Right, adding some quotations and all.
So,
I
not,
think
not much difficult. I would not much different from the GS.
Right.
I would say it's just that a little more. Here we don't focus on the value-added materials, but here it plays a very important role.
value-added material. Yeah, the point that we were discussing, the quotations, the examples, the facts, some recent policies. For example, in IB, foreign trade policy can be helpful.
Right.
In the government business interface, recent budget, what are the policies they have introduced. So these things we just keep updated and we keep attaching in the relevant thing. So that is sufficient. Fine. And what are the few mistakes which you point out these students do in the management optional? You might have committed, or you have known, and you somehow managed to avoid it.
So one mistake is not to neglect numericals. First, that we have to solve numericals a lot. That is very high paying in terms of marks. Second mistake that people do is that they overburden themselves with lot going into the depth of every topic rather than covering the syllabus as a whole first.
Right.
So I would say that first get a hand of as I said, that 2-3 pages of information about every topic first.
Yes.
Every topic mentioned syllabus. Then go into that value.
And keeping in mind the previous year questions. Keeping in mind the previous year questions.
Keeping in mind the previous year questions, and the next step it should be followed with that going into the depth of those topics once you have covered the breadth of it.
Yes.
So for example, let's say motivational theories. Then first is that you know about the Hirschberg's theory, you know about Maslow's theory. Then once you know this, move forward to another topic like decision making. Once you know some kind of 2-3 theories of that, then move to different topic.
Right.
And once you have covered all that, then see that okay, now how can apply motivation the theories to the current scenarios, framing questions in your mind, whatever is happening around.
Right.
But the idea is not to go into the depth first. First cover the breadth and the depth. I would say.
Right. Understood. And what about notes making? Is it, I mean, should we make the notes of all the subject, every topic, or you suggest some specific topics or maybe some pain areas for the notes
I
making?
prepared notes for all the topics, and I think it is important also because it gives you that kind of confidence that you have worked
Short notes, yeah.
worked on those topics, and you can always refer. It's always easier to refer to those material again because it's in your own material, and it's also it gets registered in the mind, in your mind very for a very longer time.
Right.
So we never know that how many attempts we have to we have to stay.
Yes, yes,
So
yes.
if you have that kind of
Our own
base-
notes are always helpful.
if you have that kind of a base once, like if you devote 6 months, 8 months on preparing those kind, and I'm not saying that by own notes you need to think on those things yourself. You can take help of anything, coaching material,
Right.
newspaper, books, as I said.
Right,
So, but from all those things, you need to prepare a
Pick
gist
up-
of that those topics, and then prepare your
It
own
always
notes.
gives the confidence that I
does.
have completed this, and you know
Yes,
those when we write with our own handwriting, then it always is easy to revise, easy to recall as well.
Yes, yes, it
Yes, 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 yes. So, what do you think is the difference between the preparation of paper 1 and paper 2? Anything that you find, and which paper is difficult or bulky, something like that? Some people say paper 2 is a bit different. So, how do you find it?
So here also, in terms of attempting the question paper and also completing it on time, it depends on what kind of questions you are attempting. So for example, in paper 2, if you are attempting 2 questions on the numerical part of it, for example from COM or maybe operations management, that sequencing thing that we do. So there I see that those questions are done well within time itself. So that gives you some kind of flexible time to attempt those theory questions which require more time.
More time, yeah.
For coming with examples, for coming with some diagrams.
Recalling.
But then in numerical, if you know, you can just solve it in like 7-8 minutes.
Right, right.
So that is very important. In terms of preparation and attempting first and second paper, I would say again, second is more numerical focused. So in second paper, you focus more on the numericals of operation management, quantitative management, and in the first paper, I would say that focus on your strengths. For example, I had taken about 10. My strength was marketing. So I used to always attempt marketing questions, irrespective of what the questions are. So you yourself need to know about your strength.
Right.
If it's finance,
Play on the strength.
If it's finance and accounting, then then do
work on that.
attempt it accordingly.
Right.
And work more on that, so that yes, it's very important that whatever is your strength, because you need not to attempt the whole paper. That you know for sure.
Right.
So once you have the base of all the subjects, then start identifying your strengths and then work on building those strengths.
Right. In fact, this is a very important point, that rather than doing everything with the same intensity, we should focus on our strong areas, so that whatever if any question comes from that area, any question we should be very strong, and we should get some edge in that area which is already good with us.
Yes.
And definitely we have to cover everything, but may not be with the same intensity.
Right.
We have to play on our strength. Very important. There are some questions students are asking. How to analyze the previous year questions?
Analysis can be done in terms of that within. So there are some years where we can find that entire one question is devoted to one subject only.
Right.
And
like
there are
question number 1, 2. So
three.
question 1 is compulsory.
Yes.
Question number 2, suppose they are giving only financial management.
Only financial management.
Question number 3, only marketing. Question number 4, like that. Yes, yes. That is one kind of pattern.
Yes.
Right.
And there are other years wherein kind of they mix and match.
They mix up 2 questions of financial management, 2 questions of accounting, like that.
Yes. So it's important to realize that we never
Any
know
combination
that
is
any
possible.
combination is possible.
Yeah.
So be prepared for
We
that.
have to. We cannot say that we will completely leave one subject.
Leave one subject.
And then we will solve other subject, because probably a mix can also come. This is very good point.
Yes. So that is there. Then second would be also to understand that which part of numericals are being repeated more. For example, linear programming is almost every year you can find. Either from graphical method you have to solve, or through simplex method you have to solve. So linear programming is one thing where you cannot leave it at all, and you have to prepare very thoroughly with that.
Right.
And similar is the case with a Z-test question, T-test question, or F-test question will surely be there in the hypothesis testing will be there. So how I'll say is that first identify those topics which are repeated almost every year.
Right.
So there are high chances that it will be repeated next year also. So you prepare that. And second would be before going to the examination hall itself, see that you will attempt. There are two sections, right, in both the papers. So and it goes on topic wise. So you can have in your mind automatically that in terms of my strength, I would either attempt 2 questions from the section B,
Right.
or maybe 2 sections from the section A. So if you have that in mind already, you would save the time there in deciding that what questions I need to attempt there.
We should have some kind of pre-designed plan, so that
Yes.
whenever we see the question and we think that okay, this is as per our plan, we just start attempting it,
Yes, yes.
rather than thinking, oh, let me check what are the other questions. So instead of reading the entire question paper first, we should keep thinking at okay, is it okay, then we write
Yes,
it.
yes.
Is it okay, we write it.
So nine times out of 10 it will work in your favor only.
Right.
And there are times that you have to change your strategy in the exam hall itself.
Right,
So don't panic there if it happens, because it's possible that some of the subject that you thought was your strength, but there are questions which are you have never heard of
Right.
that particular theory. It's also possible.
Right,
So be prepared with that flexibility also in your mind, that even if the things don't go on my favor in that examination hall, I would not panic.
Right. We will have a plan, but we will see if this plan has to be applied or we have to
Yes.
change the strategy.
Yes, yes.
But we should plan in advance.
Mostly plan applies. Like
Right.
it has never happened to me that I have went with this thing that I will attempt 2 questions from section B and then I ended up attending otherwise.
Right,
It's not
right,
happened,
right.
but it is possible.
Yeah, it is possible. We have to be. It is ultimately UPSC.
Yes.
They can change it anytime.
So they can change anything.
Right.
And we are seeing the same thing with prelims also.
Absolutely.
That-
Yeah, it happens in
that,
every stage.
And whoever is clearing prelims today, in my opinion, it's about that having that kind of flexibility in your mind. That okay, if it's difficult, it is difficult for all.
We should have multiple strategy. At the same time, which strategy to focus, we should decide in the exam hall itself. Yes, we should always have the backup strategy. If one strategy do not work, we have to adopt another strategy. Also, this year they asked 5 marks questions. So, did you find difficulty in switching over from one 5 marker to another 5 marker like that?
Not really. So you need to see that what time do you have to devote for every question. You have to solve 5 questions. Now you have about 180 minutes. So divide it accordingly. I think about 35 minutes per question you have to devote. So now that 35 question
Has to be.
has to be devoted accordingly.
Yeah.
So what I used to do, that I fixed my time for every question beforehand. So for example, for 20 minutes question, for 15 minutes question, for 15 marker question, solve it in 10.5 minutes. And similar the case with if there's a 10 marker, then in 7.5 minutes, 7 minutes that's solve.
Right.
And if it's a 5 marker, then don't just introduce it, don't conclude it, no need.
Right.
Just
Directly
hit right
hitting
to the right to the point answer that has to be given.
Right.
Even if it's not filling the page, it's fine.
Yeah.
You will get
Because
3
we are
full
getting
marks.
hardly 3 minutes, 3.5
Exactly,
minutes.
exactly.
So 30 seconds it takes to read the question, and in 3 minutes you have to think, you have to write also. So it is not possible that we will write introduction and conclusion.
So give the question the time, the weightage as per the time allocated in your mind.
Right.
So that always helps. I follow this in all the GS subjects as well.
Right.
That if I am like even for example, I always use kind of a watch.
Right.
I always
Digital watch
I
is
always have a look
better.
at it. So whenever I see that okay, the 7 minutes is already over now, I have about 30 seconds.
switch
So I go
over.
to the conclusion because it's always important that you attempt
All the questions first,
rather than
attempting
focusing
one
just
question.
focusing on quality on some of the questions and then end up leaving 2 questions at the end.
Very
So
true.
that is not going to help.
Very
in
true.
UPSC.
Very simple. It is very simple that whatever time we have, we just write whatever is best possible, and then move to the next topic.
Yes.
Is the total paper manageable? Within 3 hours, are you able to manage it?
Yes, most of the candidates they are managing.
Okay. That means it is not that lengthy.
It is. I mean, again, as I said earlier, it depends that how much practice have you devoted in
Right.
terms of your speed in numericals.
Right,
Because
right.
you can have numericals in both the subjects. Both,
Right.
First paper
Paper
2
one
as well,
also,
paper 1 as
paper
well.
two also, yeah.
So if you are, for example, I used to solve the numerical part of it. If I have devoted 35 minutes to it, 20-25 minutes it will be completed. If I know it properly, then those 10 minutes can be then used in some theory questions.
Right.
So that kind of buffer if you have, and this starts with your practice before the exam itself.
Right.
So that helps to cover the time there. If you're not practicing, then you will of
So
course find it
practicing in
difficult.
advance will help.
Definitely.
Right. So you were writing the test with us this year.
Yes.
So how do you think writing some answers or test, it helps? I mean, what exactly should be taken care of while writing the tests?
So
I was evaluating your copy and I was giving the feedback regarding value additions, and in few areas you are doing really very good, and in some areas, I told about the improvement. But how did you find, this test practice as a candidate?
So test practice is very important for all the subjects, be it GS, and it even becomes more important with respect to management.
Yeah.
Because in management, the thing is that there are very few students who are writing mains with this optional. So again, there is I'm never sure about that, but there is a perception there is a bell curve for every kind of optional subject. So you have to be in the topmost of that bell curve.
Excellent.
So
You have to be in the top 10%.
Top 10%.
Yeah.
To get marks like 280, 290, 300. So make sure that this kind of test series helps in kind of getting you that edge over other who are not serious about the test series.
Right.
And it helps to identify your strengths. That with proper feedback you can always get to know that okay, these are my strengths. And some topics you will find that okay, I had a very vague answer, but I can improve upon that
Through model answer.
Through value added, through value addition. So definitely test series is very important with respect to optional, and I think that because of before Didymi, I don't think anybody else was providing the test series. So I think that students can refer to the Didymi IS test series.
Okay. Regarding interview, like you appeared multiple times in interview, specifically this interview. Like we did a mock and you prepared for the management, and we were discussing that a lot of questions came from management. Can you please explain some of the areas which management students should take care while they are preparing for the interview, specifically from the optional point of view?
So first is that within the DAF itself, they ask you to mention in terms of what subjects you have taken when you were doing MBA. So you can always play it smart by giving them just 1 or 2 subjects at max.
Okay.
If you give all the 12 subjects or maybe 6 subjects, then it gives a very broader area to prepare for you.
Right.
So I had given just marketing.
Okay.
So that I will be focusing just on marketing and I will be thorough with it.
Right.
So any kind of question they will ask, I should have an answer to it. So it kind of helped me also, because in the board this time they specifically asked that did you do marketing as a major? So I said yes sir, I had a marketing major, and it was the case because
So do they ask the question from the management as an optional?
Yes,
do they ask
definitely.
the question?
They will be asking for sure, because they need to test you on your seriousness about your studies while you were there in post graduation.
Right.
You were doing on the graduation. So they always ask questions. For example, there were some questions that were asked to me. First was that market yourself to us, because at the end interview is all about that. Making them understand that why you are suitable for the job.
Right.
That is there. Then second question about management was, from my previous years I can remember, is that your government employees are not feeling motivated for a longer period of time. So how will you make them motivated to in terms of doing their task?
Yes, so basically we have to link the motivation theories. Somehow
they are they are expecting you.
They are expecting
to mention those theories. They will not ask you directly that mention this theory.
Right.
And they can even ask you sometimes that okay, any theory that you have learned in motivational theory, any theory that you want, apply that to solve this problem.
Right.
So for example, in this time I was even asked question that how would you use marketing knowledge in terms of improving the awareness among the people about the different schemes that the government runs. So there you have to talk about the things like understand the customer well. Then you have to talk about that marketing communication mix has to be adopted because it's a rural area, and you have to of course go for the festivals, then go for door-to-door campaigns. So you have to again link your knowledge of marketing and other subjects as well to answer those questions.
This is for me. How did our Didymi study material, answer writing, and overall whatever services you took, did it help you increase confidence in management, and how do you see all our programs or services?
Definitely. So in fact this time, because I was focusing on the more the numericals part, So I made sure that the study material that was provided, I am solving all the questions from that. Even the different examples, solved examples are also given in the book. So I refer to that. Then again, and I have gained guidance from you also in terms of frequently that these are the different things that I can improve upon.
Yeah, gray areas that you are
Gray areas.
facing difficulty.
In fact, even in the mock interview that I gave to it was, I am really thankful to sir for giving me a one hour session on the mock interview. so that kind of covered many questions that I was asked.
Many questions they were asking in the optional.
Many questions they were asked
in your real interview.
Yes, many questions that you asked, either they were asked directly by the board or they were indirectly helped me in answering those questions. So for example, if you mentioned about focusing on the corporate governance aspect as well in the interview. So they asked me about that. There was a news going on about Paytm. That recently the Vijay Sharma has stepped out as the CEO of the Paytm Payments Bank. So how do you see it going? So I use that knowledge that it gives a good perception to the stakeholders that it's that the working of the company is happening in a very transparent manner. So I think that kind of the mock also helped me in the interview.
It helps focus on the right areas.
Overall, it has been a very auspicious
time.
Thank you.
And we wish you all the best.
Thank you.
To get